Alright, so now we're going over my roommate's bullet journal. This is just a random journal she had on hand. There's not a whole lot filled in. I was originally going to film this with her sitting next to me, but she stayed up all night last night, frantically packing. And then her mom showed up at like 8 a.m. and was all like, well, if you want my help moving your things, you have to move the things right now at 8. That's not actually how her mom talks, but I am not exactly pleased with the woman at the moment. So there's that. So I've set up a key with some bag key doodles. This is why you don't bullet journal when you're sick, okay? Like this is why you don't bullet journal when you're sick. Especially not when you're setting other things. This one's nice, this one's cute. If I had done a little bit more, this would look like the Keyblade from fucking Kingdom Hearts, but I don't actually think she's into Kingdom Hearts, so it's like, yeah, anyway. So it's a pretty basic key at this point. Like I actually copied this key. This is the exact key from the official bullet journal website. I don't know how useful this is gonna wind up being for her, so I may have wasted my time making this, but it only took me like 5 minutes anyway. If in all of these videos that go up this week I sound like absolute death, that is because I am fairly certain I have a sinus infection. I know someone is probably out there saying, don't you always have a sinus infection? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Like, my sinuses hate me. Hate me. And it always happens when like the pollen, the type of pollen changes, and then also when like the weather starts to change. And like I am in Florida, so it's perpetual summer and all of that jazz. But there are changes that are enough to get to me apparently. Anyway, so I just did her little initial and a little mini wreath. It's a rose and some lavender. I don't even know if she likes roses and lavender, but these are the two botanicals that I am really good at drawing. So, let me go into her index. Yeah, I used a big cup to do the circle, and I didn't realize that it was gonna leave a coffee ring. So I'm kind of incorporating the coffee ring into the doodle. I'm not, as you can tell, I haven't erased. I'm not totally done here. And then we go to the index. I've already filled in a bit of it, like everything I have put in here I've already put into the index for her. And I've given her 4 pages of index because, as you can probably tell, this is a wide ruled journal, not a college ruled journal. This becomes an issue later on, you will see. And then we have the future log, so I have the rest of this year, and then the first quarter of next year, and then an after that section, if she winds up with like, if she decides that she's going to start planning my birthday trip now, my birthday's in July, if she decides she's gonna start planning whatever we're doing for that now, she has a small amount of space for that. You can probably see right here and right here there's a bit of damage. This paper is really, really thin and like really, really susceptible to like glue stick fuckery. So there's that. And then I have an ideal day and then a morning and an evening routine for her. I don't know if she's gonna use these, but I felt like it'd be helpful. It's like 10% pettiness and 90% god-awful mom friend vibes. And then I had to glue 2 pages together because I messed up the first page. And then we have moon phases, their meanings, and then the names of the moons, the wheel of the year. We're both really low-key witchy. Like I'm contemplating adding these 2 spreads into my bullet journal. But I'm also contemplating not doing that until I have a bullet journal that's gonna last me a little bit longer, because these Midori MD notebooks, the last one I had I burned through in 4 months. So anyway, and then we have a wish list set up much the same as I've set up my own, divided the page in half, wrote the title at the top. If you're wondering, this is from the 26 pack of Crayola Super Tips. This is the light pink, and then this is the mild smoke blue from Mildliner. And it matches the the Dusk Simply Gilded washi really well. And then we come to the main reason why she wanted me to start her a bullet journal was for her budget. So right now I feel like a 50-30-20 budget is going to be the easiest for her to use. So I just have the rules of that written down. A small space for notes later on. And then a 2020 goals brainstorm. Again, I have this sheet in mine. I might divide this up into 4 quarters, you know, and then have her set it up in a quarterly sort of fashion. And then we get into her October, which is more functional than my October. I use the same sort of setup for her though, because I really wound up liking the plus sign divisions. She might not. She might wind up preferring the more like traditional like Writer Carol sort of list style. So, you know, next month I might try that for her. So I have October, I have events, I have her goals and her notes here. I had to glue in a piece of dot grid paper to be able to put a habit tracker in here for her because there are not 31 lines, there's like 28 lines or something like that. I'm contemplating actually putting another division line here and making it a pain tracker for her because she does have a lot of chronic pain. Like she has to wear a back brace sometimes. And then her October budget spending tracker. So we have a needs, wants, ends, save / debt. So, you know, let's say she spends $5 at the coffee shop. And then she writes down whatever date, the 1st. That's a want. And then we get over to here and between her paychecks, you know, income, needs, wants, savings, debt, savings / debt, add totals there, and then the totals for these 2 weeks, and then everything added together at the end of the month, and then a little bit of note space for math, or like, I think this is absolute shit, Catherine, why are you making me do this? And then more tracker space for more sort of checkbook space, because I realized that one page was not going to be enough, because my girl spends a lot. She makes a lot of purchases. And then we get into the first week. I don't know what style of weekly layout she's going to like the best, so I just set her up a whole bunch of different ones. And we have work and then top 3, water, 10% pettiness, 90% god-awful mom friend vibes. So there's that one, sort of a horizontal one, and then we have a vertical one, which is very, very narrow, but it may give her a good amount of listing space, and she might like that. Previously, she's shown interest in hourly planners, so depending on whether or not she likes this, I may make her buy a dotted journal or even just a grid journal. Like, I can make this work a lot better even with a grid composition book. Alycia, fix it. But also it is always better to use what you have on hand to begin with. She is a writer, so she's a chronic notebook hoarder. My ultimate question though is, are you using wide ruled so that it feels like you fill up the pages quicker, or are you using wide ruled because your handwriting's big, Alycia? Because like, I feel like a third. Like, if I was writing my normal size in these spaces, I probably would not have filled up the full like line. Just saying. And then we get to one that's kind of like the hobonichi weeks. We have Monday through Sunday here, her water tracker down here, and then a this week dashboard kind of thing on this side. And then like I don't know, this is like a combo horizontal vertical kind of thing. And then this one, this is the last week of October and the first 3 days of November, and I did a vertical Dutch door. So I halfway feel like this is going to be the one she winds up liking the best, and then that's the end of it. So there will probably be an update to this sometime mid-month to see how she's using it, to see what collections she's had me add, or if she's added any her own self. Wow, okay. Anyway, and then, you know, you'll probably get a November plan with me, and however long this notebook lasts, because I will make her fill up this whole notebook before she buys a new one for bullet journaling purposes. I might even make her use up all of her stashed notebooks for bullet journaling purposes, rather than allow her to buy a new one specifically for it, because she has so many notebooks, guys. So many notebooks. Anyway, have a good day.